you gonna do to that snake?
I'm gonna hold the snake and tap on the snake and punch the snake.
Where is the snake?
In the chicken coop.
So that's what's been getting all of our chicken eggs? How big is it?
This big.
What color is it?
White and black.
Okay, so you're gonna punch it, kick it, and step on it?
Yep, and punch on it.
Tell me how it's gonna go.
It's not gonna move. It's not gonna be alive, and it won't get up a tree and won't get a chicken. Won't get a chicken's eggs.
Okay, because you're going to take care of it, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I trust you. I'm going to call you the Snake Whisperer, okay?
Okay.
All right, you got it.
I am strong.
You are strong, that's right. Well, y'all heard it from old Ivy June. She's gonna take care of that snake. If you guys remember, we had been questioning why our chickens weren't laying. And I'd find some like random eggs in the garden, and Nathan has looked for snakes before in the chicken coop, but hasn't ever found any. But he said it is a massive, massive king snake. That has kind of taken home behind one of our little nesting boxes. We have those milk crates that they lay in. So he's trying to think through what the best approach there is. But I'm actually starting our goats on a new wormer. And so I'm going to go give this to them, check in with Nathan, and see what the situation is for the eggs. Because they do like to get eggs with Nathan. And so we got to get that snake out of there. So I'm going to be giving Molly's herbals. You guys know I'm not a goat expert. I will be the first to tell you that. I have been welcoming all sorts of advice, tips, tricks, you name it. But I know some people who will say absolutely not. You cannot give your goat an herbal wormer. It will not work. And honestly, I have a hard time giving my goats conventional medicine whenever that kind of goes against mine and Nathan's standpoint on things. And so we like to find a holistic approach, if at all possible. And so honestly, all of my friends use this Molly's herbal. And so when I found that out, like all my goats had been wormed before they got to me. And so now it's time for me to continue that. Now the thing with herbal medicine, and I tell people this too, like you got to give it a chance, right? It's not going to be like you take this one pill and you're knocked out for hours and immediately works. Same thing with your animals. If you're doing an herbal regimen, rather for yourself or your animals, you're going to have to do it more frequently and more often because it's herbs, you know? So like I said, heard great things about this. It's kind of a two-part formula, but one thing I really liked is she gives you this like herbal worm formula. So for the first 3 days, you're giving formula 1, and then you'll just do that every like 6 to 8 weeks, I think. And then once a week, you'll give formula 2. And another thing I really liked about this approach is that you put it on their feed instead of like injecting in their mouth, which can, you know, a lot of animals just don't like that. So the idea of just being able to like mix it in with their grain, I really liked. It seemed like it would be the less invasive way to go about worming an animal. So let's take this down there. Let's go check on Nathan. And yeah, we'll see what's going on. All right, let's go find Nate. We were supposed to be moving goats closer to the house because one thing I'm going to start doing is training them to the milk stanchion. And so essentially what I'm going to be doing is feeding them up there on the stanchion, closing, you know, like locking their head in, just like probably brushing them, petting them, touching their udders, just really kind of getting them, one, familiar with me, and familiar with that whole milking process. One thing that I was told from a friend of mine is if you're going to buy animals for the first time, specifically dairy animals, it's important to find, you know, to buy them from someone who's willing to mentor you in that. And I have found that that is very true. So It was a friend of mine that I bought my Nigerian Nubians from, and you know, she starts milk stand training hers at 4 months, which is crazy, but I figured better late than never. So I haven't had these girls for very long. Hey girls! So I'm going to start doing that, and I'm actually really excited about that. You guys know I'm a massive routine person, so getting in this like kind of groove of having my coffee out there and brushing them while they're eating their breakfast, I just really like that. All right, so you're supposed to add a tablespoon. It tells you different sizes, so you can use this wormer on really any animal, but the dosage amount that you give is going to be different. And so it said for my goat size, a tablespoon, which is also 15 milliliters. So instead of like using my tablespoon, I'd like to just keep all the goat stuff together. I'll probably put it in like a tote and just write on it. That way I can easily grab it when I get ready to like worm or do whatever I need to do. So these plastic little measuring things work really well. So I feed my goats together. And honestly, they share food pretty well. So you can see there's a trough behind there. So I'm just taking this, I'm going to get 30 mils, dump it in here, mix it in with their grain, and then feed them. I do want to kind of keep an eye on them too, just to see how they like it. The only downfall is, you know, the dogs are in here. We always got to make sure that the dogs don't mess with their food at all. But the good thing about this is if for some reason another one of the animals got it, we don't have to worry about it harming them at all. So I'm just going to take this, pop it back in here, and we are good to go. So I will do this one, the Formula 1, every day for 3 days in a row. And then I'll switch to that Formula 2 just like once a week. Hey girlies, back up Lily. What you think, girls? Huh? What you think? Alright, that was pretty easy. They are munching down just fine, so they didn't seem to have a problem with the flavor of it. It actually smelled really, really good. So, you guys might have noticed that probably for the last month or so, you haven't seen Molly, who was our other goat. It was a boar goat that we got locally from a guy Nathan used to work with, and they raised boars. They had a really, really large herd, actually. And I talk about finding a mentor when you're wanting to get into an animal that you're not familiar with. And I think this is really, really important. And so one of our friends was, you know, has so much animal husbandry knowledge, and she was a vet tech for many years, and we told her, you know, we're gonna get a Nubian Nigerian mix to milk, which she thought was a great idea. And then we had told her that we were gonna get a boar to have just kind of as like a lawnmower. So our friend had completely advised us against getting the boar goat, and she said that because with that breed specifically, there's some sort of like parasite or something that they get often, and most of the people breeding them don't ever check for that. And so she's like, if you're gonna, you know, buy this goat, you need to make sure that it's been treated and tested for X, Y, and Z, and what that is, I don't know. And frankly, Nathan and I, we didn't ask that. We were like, you know, we're getting this goat just to move around pastures to, you know, keep the weeds and the grass down. And we were like, it's okay. But I had talked to that owner about the herbal wormer, and she was very much so against it. Said that you need to be rotating worming really, really frequently, like more than what we had been told. And that was a little alarming to me, just because I don't like the idea of like overworming if it's not necessary. And then that made me wonder, well, why are we overworming to begin with? But I guess they are more prone to parasites maybe, and worms and diseases and things like that. And so I don't know, you know, again, we're trying to gather information, which if you are new to homesteading or farming, that's really all you can do. We want every animal that comes on our farm to have a great, fulfilled life, but also at some point, you can't become an expert or a teacher until you have learned and experienced yourself. And so one day we noticed that she was like, just looked really, really bloated. And so I had told Nathan, brought it to his attention. I was really concerned about it. We did a lot of research. We reached out to the owners. This is pretty normal. Keep an eye on it. It shouldn't be a big deal. And then I noticed, and everything I've been told with goats too is it's just so quickly something can happen, and they're not wrong. And so we noticed these things, and the more we researched, it was normal per se. And then one day I look out from the dining room table and I can see her laid over, and it just didn't look normal. And so Nathan and I rushed out to the pasture. She was bloated up and she had died. Obviously, there are so many things. Like, I think animal deaths on the farm are harder for me than they are for Nathan. And so I'm trying to figure out, well, what happened? I'm reaching out to the owner, I'm reaching out to my friend, and more than likely it was just some sort of parasite, even though she had been wormed and we'd done all the things. But that's really common with that breed. And so super unfortunate. Definitely a learning opportunity there. At this point, we're not going to get any more goats. I really just I was truthfully terrified. I spent every day just laying eyes on Millie and Mabel, just so concerned something was going to happen. But I have since talked to a lot of other people, and they're saying that the breeds I have now are a lot easier to maintain. And I don't truthfully know if I'm not skilled in goats enough to know if that's true or not. But I do know that we just decided we are going to focus on our 2 right now that we plan on breeding, learning really all the ins and outs of caring for goats. And maybe if we were going to get an animal for brush or grass management, we would find one that's not so finicky. And that is one thing that, many people have just told us about the goats, is that you either love them or you hate them. That's what we've been told. You either love them or you hate them, because so many things can happen so quickly. That's the thing too, is with goats, by the time we'd figured out there was a problem when we were trying to figure out what that problem was, it was already too late. And so that's always hard. It's always hard dealing with that on the farm. But I am determined to have healthy goats, to have healthy kids in the spring, and really just kind of grow and learn as I'm keeping goats on our farm. Hey, good looking. He is sweaty.
I am sweaty. You want a hug? You look all cute.
Well, thanks. All right, I was telling them about our snake situation. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, well, all I know is I moved the egg crate because there was an egg in there, and pulled the egg crate out, and I saw this big black rat snake, king snake.
Did you get it?
No.
No.
If I could see its head, then I probably would have grabbed it, but I couldn't see its head, so I didn't want to reach my hand.
Oh, this weather is fantastic.
It's humid, but yeah, the wind's
wow,
blowing,
that's great. So are you gonna attempt?
I'm thinking about it.
Can I film this? Okay, so obviously I've been down, and obviously I'm in much better spirits. Thank the Lord. I have my days where I feel like I'm super emotional, but overall, just being able to be outside has done wonders. But while I was laid up for recovery, I produced these massive cucuzzi squashes, and Nathan said a lot of you guys were commenting that they were too big. So you're breaking them, giving them to the piggies. Mm-hmm. What does the inside look like? Can you break one for me?
Yeah.
Have you tried it at all?
I have. I've been eating it.
What does it taste like?
So to be honest with you, like the big bulky part is very seedy. But if you pull the seeds out, it almost tastes like a melon.
Interesting. I wonder if we could, I always try to think of like ways we could use produce that is, gone bad, if you will.
So look how squishy it is. Mm-hmm. That's not something I would cut up and stir fry.
Yeah.
But inside of here, I don't have my pocket knife on me. Look, it's very, very seedy.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, let me try to. Yeah. Wow, yeah, very seedy.
But you can pull these seeds out.
It almost looks like the flesh of a honeydew melon.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, no, it's not that sweet. It's still more on the squash side, but it does have a sweetness to it.
Goober.
He's gnawing on it.
I wonder if we could puree it and put that puree in some sort of like something.
Don't know. But
All right, let me
look
add
how
it.
seedy. I think that's why we need to pick them when they're
I just wormed
smaller.
the goats, so I probably don't need to touch that and eat it. Which I did worm the goats. I feel very educated and skilled in that.
Well, educate me.
So you do the Formula 1, which is the wormwood. You do 15 mils per goat. So I just added one of those little medicine thingies in there so we could keep it. So I'll do that for 3 days. And then after that, I switch to the Formula 2, which is just once a week. And then every 6 to 8 weeks, you'll do that Formula 1 again.
You want to try it?
Whoa, definitely a melon.
Yeah.
No part of that tastes like a squash.
Yeah. So.
You know what that would be so good as?
What?
Kombucha.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So what I could do, even with the big ones, is I could puree it and freeze it and then pull that out when I get ready to make my kombucha and use that as a flavor. So you guys get creative when you start thinking about, you know, something's gone bad or
just
whatever.
juicing. There's
Just
so
juicing.
much. Like,
Well,
I don't know the nutritional value of this, but
The bad thing about juicing is, you know, you really like, sometimes I'll juice for the week, but really like after day 3 or 4, the nutritional content and value goes down substantially. So that's what I'm thinking, maybe freezing it. And I don't know how well that would taste if you were coming back out and just drinking it raw, but adding it as a flavor
yeah.
additive might do well.
Well, I mean, you know, you think about the cucumbers we put in the juicer, has
Yeah.
all that liquid. This has
Yeah.
got tons of liquid.
Tons of liquid. Right now, the little piggies are enjoying it. All right, tell me, do you want to go check on the snake situation, or are we done?
You want me to go wrangle a snake?
No, I'm asking a question.
Are you needing video content?
Nope, I sure don't. We had a nice little chat about goats.
I can just see the title of that video. Nathan gets mauled by a king snake. If you feel like putting that camera down and helping me wrangle it.
I really started to question how well Nathan knew me when we went to the thrift store together. And now you asking me to help you wrangle a snake really has me questioning how well you know me.
Yeah.
I am terrified of snakes, all snakes. Something Nathan and I always have a friendly little debate about is he's like, it's not poisonous. It doesn't have to be poisonous to still hurt. And I'm not like in the business of getting bit by a snake ever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, shout out to Cattywampus Acres. Jason, I wish you were here to help me wrangle this snake right now.
So my sister and her family are coming over for dinner tonight, and they're actually very well educated in snakes. My nephews like know all sorts of stuff about snakes. They handle snakes. So we'll go take a gander, but this might be something that would just be right up their alley and not necessarily up our alley. But
I'm gonna leave these out here. I think they get enough.
yeah. Yeah, so the kukuzi squash. Curious if you've grown it before. If so, do you think it tastes more like a melon or a squash? I'm not saying I wouldn't grow it as a melon. You know, a lot of times with melons, they're just so sweet. That's the thing. It's like we love fruit, but there's like that right time of like ripe, and then it's just like too sweet, especially if you're using the puree for kombucha. If it's too sweet, it over ferments, which is like, it's wild. We've had kombucha literally shoot to like our ceiling before during the second fermentation, and so that was so mild but still had that sweet note, and I really like that. I can tell you this, even just having a week off, I've gotten out of the practice of holding this massive camera. I feel like I am
Your
like
arms are shaking?
huffing and puffing. You guys just bear with me.
The one time I carried that camera, I was like, holy cow.
It's heavy.
It is heavy.
I got a strong arm, in case y'all were wondering. Yeah, the goats ate that, like, the wormer, no problem. It actually smelled really good. I think I need to take my camera off the tripod. Also, just know, like, there's a possibility I'm gonna scream like a girl and just leave you hanging, okay?
Hold on.
I'm surprised, like, It hasn't done
Get in there.
anything to any of the chickens.
Well, we gotta get in there, and then I'm gonna move the egg crate
What
so
do
you
you
can.
mean we? Like, we need to talk about that.
Well, how else are you just gonna reach around the corner? You gotta get in there.
I mean, I need to know a plan.
So it's right here.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna get you in there. I'm gonna pull that milk crate out so you can get it on film. You can't just. It's back here.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Is there a rooster in there?
Nope.
Hey friends, Jill here. I am editing this video and realize I must have gotten so strucken with fear about the snake situation that I didn't actually record. I was so worried about keeping my distance from that thing. So unfortunately, I got no video evidence of this ginormous black snake in the chicken coop, but you guys check out the rest of this video to figure out what our plan is. So I think our plan is to wait for my sister and her husband to come over. Seems like a job for 2 men.
Ryan's coming over to help me move a chair and wrangle a snake.
What else are brother-in-laws for?
Right.
All right, guys, that's enough excitement for the day. We'll keep you posted on if we got the snake or not. You know, like Nathan was saying too, is it's a good snake, and so we'd want to just relocate it, but now that it's eaten our eggs, it'll just keep coming back. So
Yeah.
we'll have to think through that quite a bit, but we're gonna finish giving all that squash to the piggies and then go inside and get ready for some family to come over for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll
Cooking a good dinner tonight.
Cooking a good dinner. We're having street tacos.
Yeah.
With some homemade sourdough naan and all sorts of stuff. So
Street corn, beans, Mexican rice.
I know you guys are always asking what we're cooking. I actually just put in a massive order from Azure Standard. That's where we do like our bulk rice and flours and beans and stuff like that. So hopefully this winter we'll have a lot more cooking content, just as we're not doing as much outside. Because I've actually enjoyed getting in the kitchen. This time of year is definitely when I'm show my face around the kitchen a bit more than in the summertime.
And it's the opposite for me. I can't stand being out here
Yeah.
all hours sweating.
Yeah.
But in the wintertime, I prefer to be outside the whole
Yeah. So it really kind of works, 'cause we kind of just like switch roles in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. I got all kind of projects.
Good. I'm happy to hear about them. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.